Thank you so much for that good response. For the next question, can you describe how you adapt your instruction to support students at different academic levels? And what specific strategies do you use to ensure that they're developing strong skills in critical thinking, analysis, and communication? And how do you monitor and assess their growth?
Okay, I have scaffolds that I have built into all my assignments. So I start by pre-teaching, generally when we're introducing a new text, by pre-teaching vocabulary and activating background knowledge. And then when students are responding to questions about the text, I always provide them with sentence stems. I'll use more sentence stems towards the beginning of the year. Towards the end of the year, I might pull a few back a little bit, so they're trying to write a little bit more independently. I will also use like essay outline structures and graphic organizers to ensure that they understand how to write the assignment correctly. In terms of, and then we'll monitor them through various assessments of the year to ensure there's growth. And specifically with their writing, I want to make sure that they're ready for high school requirements for essay responses, so that they're ready, that their writing is developing throughout the year. And then I also just talk about how to analyze texts, monitor comprehension while you're reading. I'll do like a lot of think alouds, how I process a text, how do I make connections to a text, and things to help build their context clues so that they're able to answer inferencing questions too. Is a big thing in ELA.
Okay. Thank you for that response. For the next question, how do you ensure that when you are teaching, students not only understand the content and the facts, but how do you ensure that they engage with perspectives and experiences of people that are different from them?
So at the beginning of the year, I look at the population of students. The populations I've worked with are typically very diverse, so I try to ensure we have a variety of authors that represent different backgrounds that would be reflected in the student population. And it's just also important that it connects to like other things that they're learning and maybe other contents. So in 8th grade, it's a big year where they're studying U.S. history and things like the American Revolution. We have analyzed the musical Hamilton before, specific songs. We've analyzed those for figurative language and like metaphor. But we look at the different perspectives in Hamilton and compare them to one another and why people felt differently depending on their background during the time of the Revolutionary War. So students, it's not just helping them understand things in our class, but just how to process things that have happened in history and things like that. Just to ensure the class is well-rounded and that every student can see themselves reflected somewhere in a text throughout the year.
Thank you. For the next question, how do you view the role of feedback in professional growth, and how do you typically respond to feedback from colleagues, administrators, and students?
So I enjoy, it's one of my favorite parts of the class is when the students work together and write together. You can really watch just a little cluster of students that are all sit together throughout the year, how much stronger their writing will get when they're working together and providing each other with feedback to improve it. So I would be hypocritical to say that I didn't think feedback would be beneficial for me professionally when I see how well it can work for my students. So I think feedback's an important part of our job. I think, and being able to receive it and understand that we're just all trying to grow and be better. Education changes a lot. I've been in and out of education for since the late 90s, and there's been a lot of differences since I first started. So you just have to be prepared to learn new things, to try new strategies. That all of a sudden there might be something that's way more effective that I hadn't been exposed to before, so I might need feedback to be better at that. And accepting that just, I think, makes the process easier. And it just creates a more collaborative environment where everyone feels comfortable sharing feedback with one another and helping each other be at their best.
Okay, thank you. And the question that you just answered, it kind of builds into the next question. How do you support your colleagues and contribute to a positive collaborative team environment on campus? Can you share examples of times when you've worked with the team to improve instruction, solve a problem, or support students?
So I think a lot of it for me has specifically been through grade level with improving the structure. We've worked through things in PLC before to ensure we're doing specific strategies, like maybe the RACE strategy for writing, and that's been helpful. But in my day-to-day in teaching myself, it's usually being able to work with my team of teachers that at the grade level team, and ensuring that maybe we're all aware of some student issues or some issues between specific students. We're all able to support that to ensure that those students are at their best. Or maybe it's just we all have similar things that we're working on, like the short constructed responses, and that we're all on the same page with how we're presenting or teaching those. And just able to work together as a team. I think it makes it easier for the whole campus when grade level teams are really collaborative, because there's always specific. I feel like in 8th grade there's a lot of moving pieces, there's a lot of field trips and extra things and extra tests, and so when I've worked with that grade in the past, I like having a very collaborative team. So it's just we're flexible, we adapt well, and we work well together, so it makes it easy for us and for our administrators.
Thank you, very good. The next question, when you are working in a team, do you typically tend to take the lead? Do you tend to support others, or do you exhibit a mix of both?
I would say a mix of both, because I've been in a leadership role a lot on campus for the last several years, but I also know that sometimes I'm not an expert in everything. I think it's important that other teachers have opportunities for leadership and growth on campus as well. I think that's really important. And just so that they feel part of the process and that they're being heard, and sometimes that's allowing them to share like something that they're an expert in. I think it just makes us stronger. I don't feel like I have to run every PLC and be in charge of everything for my department to be effective. So we have lots of experience in my department, lots of people, lots of different backgrounds, and I appreciate it when they bring insight that will help our campus and lead us, and like many PDs in our PLC to make our team better, stronger. It would be the same with like the 8th grade team. So.
Thank you. For the next question, why are you interested in teaching middle school? And specifically, why do you want to teach at New Horizons School?
So I like teaching middle school. This is not where I started. I was originally certified to be an elementary teacher. Middle school just kind of really came to me, and I was just sort of offered the job, and I really have enjoyed it. I specifically now really like working with 8th graders. I think it's an important year in a student's life, getting them ready to prepare for high school. So I've really enjoyed that the last few years that I've been in that grade level, and I never would have thought that at the beginning of my teaching career, but I've really enjoyed it. I think it's an interesting time, and I also think I just have a life experience, or I've now raised 3 teenagers, and that's had an impact on my ability to work with this group of students. I just understand a little bit better of what they're going through from, I guess, an adult lens, and how to support that and make, just have a more pleasant experience in middle school. Was there another part to that question? I can't.
It was why specifically New Horizons?
Oh, New Horizons, yes. I'm just excited. I've heard very good things about New Horizons. I've heard it's a very collaborative environment, so I'm eager to work in an environment where teachers seem like they're enjoying themselves, and the students are very engaged and enthusiastic to be there.
Thank you so much. 1 minute.